Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor is due to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders, and teachers of Great Millstone, and like-minded men who may not be directly part of Great Millstone, but are following the doctrine given to Apostle Tahar on down, his teachers at One West, initially through the spirit of Yahweh Shai, through Elder Abba Bivens, who is Elijah in the reincarnation. Salutations to the elect, men, women, and children of Ba'ath Dawadah, the house of David, who are predestined to be saved in these last days. We surely are in the last minutes of these last days. Esau, Edom's kingdom, Edom is a so-called white man, his kingdom is coming to an end, plain and simple. All the prophecies of the signs are here. We've got the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, Revelation 13th chapter, 16th, 17th verse. Basically, is a physical mark that will be made mandatory at some point in the future. The infrastructure is already here. The CBDC into your phone, eventually as wearable, and then also it will be a physical mark. The Internet of Bodies. So that's where we're going. You look at China for an example of where they want their social credit score system to be. I'll start with saying this: the true name of the Heavenly Father is not God, not Jehovah. His name is Yahweh, meaning He is. That is Yahweh. His name is Yahweh. He is. He exists. He to be. The true name of His only begotten Son is Yahweh Shai, meaning He saves. He's salvation, and Yahweh Shai will return at that appointed time when to save the elect of the nation of Israel. That's the nation of Yasharallah, nation of Israel. The house of David will be saved. And the appropriate rulership will be set up. Yahweh Shai, 144,000. Oh, wow. That's Apostle Tahar's lesson going into the plague. Literally, that's what this video is about. About leprosy on the increase and about a brain-eating amoeba, which is another pestilence. So Yahweh Shai will return and set His kingdom up with King David within the 144,000 rulership on this earth, and it will be a righteous rulership with the elect of the nation of Israel under them, and the rest of the Israelites that didn't make it on the first go around will be born of the elect. Yes, that means a righteous rulership at that time will be established on a new Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. So I'm going to start with the verses in Matthew 24th chapter. Start at the 3rd verse. And this, as He sat upon the Mount of Olives, this is Yahweh Shai talking to the disciples came unto Him privately, saying, Tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of Thy coming, and of the end of the world? Whose world? The end of Esau, Edom's world, the end of the wicked. When Yahweh Shai comes, as I've just explained, He will take the kingdom. Daniel 7th chapter goes into that. And He'll be Lord of Lords, King of Kings, simple as. That's in Revelation. I think it's 19. So that's what the disciples were asking. When is the kingdom going to be set up? Basically, when will Israel be no longer under the oppression of the oppressors? But right now we're in the last captivity of Esau, Edom, again, who is a so-called Caucasian, a so-called white man. And from the rebirth of the Renaissance, has had a rulership for a short time. But that time is nearly up. And Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I'm a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And that's what's happened over the years. But the true prophets have been raised up. And the true prophets are speaking the truth about Yahweh Shai and His return and how He will return. Yahweh Shai will return on the so-called on the chariots of the Lord, which is a cloud, which is so-called UFOs, right? You can, for one example, you can read it as birds flying in Isaiah 31st chapter and the 5th verse. It goes and gives you a good detail on that. If you read 2nd Esdras 13th chapter, it goes gives you detail of the war in heaven. Yeah, the war that will take out Esau, Edom rulership and the rulership of the heathen. Yeah, that mix, you can match that with Daniel 12th chapter. Sorry, Revelation the 12th chapter, 7th verse. Oh, lucky for that. I should have put my notifications off. But many shall come in my name, and saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Are we not hearing of wars and rumors of wars now? Coups in Africa, Niger, for instance, this week. Yeah, that's potentially going to go into a proxy war, because the ones who took over are supporting Russia. Yeah, and the ones that the president of Niger got took out, he basically him and his supporters supporting the French in the West, kicking out the French in parts of the continent of Africa. Yeah, so lots going on with Ukraine and Russia right now. That's another war which eventually will augment. Will get larger. Yeah, you got potential with you got China and Taiwan potentially going to blow up at some point or another, which it will. Lord will quicker than sooner than later. You got always keep an eye on Iran and Israel. Yeah, the state of Israel, I should say. Yeah, because the least of the flock shall draw them out. So wars and rumors of wars. We're in that time. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. It's the beginning. Yeah, as it says in verse 8. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's what we're seeing. And there shall be famines and pestilences. Famines. What we're seeing now with the truckers, Yellow, was it Yellow in America? Truck company basically going out of business. Food prices going up. The weather. Habashimashai said he's going to visit the world with tempests, Isaiah 29th chapter 6 verse. And that's going to influence the crops and the crop growth or lack thereof. There will be a famine around the world with scarcity of food. We've seen food inflation going up. Yeah, right. The price of cost of food going up. All right. So eventually, it's the famine is going to hit in earnest. Yeah, this is why the apostles, like Apostle Gabar said today in his video that he's doing right now, over the recent months, to be fair, for longer than a few months actually, but they've been speaking on getting fit and keep being in shape. Yeah, the Spirit's put a spirit amongst the apostles and the teachers and the bishops to speak on being in shape and the importance of fitness and exercise. Because we don't know what circumstances and situations we're going to be in if we make it to Jacob's trouble. So, and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Pestilences. Pestilence, pest, the plague. Strong's definition. It's in G3061. A certain affinity, a plague, a literal disease, a figuratively a pest. Pestilence, basically a disease. Yeah. What we're seeing over the
Strong's G 3061. Roy Mass.
Then have we not been since 2019, 2020? Was that not a form of pestilence, a form of a plague? Yeah. As the words are written in red, and these are the words of Yahweh Shai, all these are the beginnings of sorrows. Wow. So the reason why, let me just actually get something else here. Get this. I'm going to go to the video. I haven't really got many scriptures lined up, but I got what I've got. Those were a little bit edifying. Second, just 15. Then we'll start at 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. Is that word again? Plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Yeah. And if you go further down, but I will bring them with a mighty. Let me start at 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Yeah. We read Revelation 11 and 8. America, Babylon the Great, is known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt. Yeah. So, but I will bring them with a mighty hand. That's when the elect will be delivered and beamed up, and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. So this could go into, plagues, but also the nukes are going to be a massive plague, which is going to just make America basically a desolate wilderness. I can read that in Isaiah 13:34, Jeremiah 49, 50, 51. We're getting a sense here, end of the day, this time is done. As well, this will play. I don't know if it will, but okay.
Now let's turn our attention to the US. An unusually hot summer is sweeping the nation. Americans are finding ways to beat the heat. Many of them are venturing to freshwater bodies. Sounds like a summer dream, but for some people, it is turning out to be quite the opposite. They've contracted brain-eating amoeba. That's right, amoeba that devours the brain. And they died from it. It's a rare but deadly infection. If someone catches it, there's a 97% chance of death. Thousands of such cases have been seen across the world. So how can you recognize this infection and how can you avoid it? Our next report tells you.
This is an amoeba. The fascinating
So yeah, Lord will put this article in the description box, or the video in the description box. This is not new, it's one from 2 years ago. Yeah, but at the end of the day, the Lord's bringing it, man. Yahweh Shemashah is bringing it to Egypt. And check this one out. This is some Epoch Health, Epoch News from yesterday. CDC, that's the Center of Disease Control in the US, issues alert about biblical disease increasing in southern states. Yeah, and what is that biblical disease? Leprosy. Yeah. Leprosy could be endemic in Central Florida, researchers say. What do we know about the disease? I'm going to play a little bit of this. If it plays, that is. What's the little play?
but haven't heard about as a threat in the state of Florida, leprosy. How is that a concern recently?
Well, it's a concern because we're seeing an uptick in cases in the United States, in Europe, and in some other parts of the Middle East. We are seeing an increase in leprosy cases. Now, the problem here in the United States is partly because of people coming with leprosy from other places, so immigrants can bring the infection. And secondly, the problem is the armadillos that acquired leprosy many, many, many years ago, back when we had a leprosy colony in Carville, Louisiana. And
see, so there we go, yeah? Leprosy is on the increase. What is leprosy? Let's go to the scriptures. Go word endemic first, actually. Meaning of disease regularly occurring within an area or community. Yeah. The regularly occurring disease. So it's going to be Endomos, native, belonging or native to a particular people or country. Yeah, it is native to a particular people or country. So, Leviticus 13th chapter. So Esau Edom is a clean leper. So if you go down to the 30th verse, around about the 30th, I'll jump back up again, but I'm just going to just prove something. Right. Bear with me. Around here. Right. Give me a second. Around the 30th. We do. Oh, click ahead. You shall be shaven on the 7th day. The scalp cleansing is unclean. Right. Ah. Priesthood and the man whose hair. I think I've gone past it, man. So lucky for this. That goes into the hair. I'm just gonna do it like this because so like I'm gonna start from the top. Right. And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising a scab or bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron and the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair is in the plague is turned white, and the plague is in sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy, and the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean. Yeah. So I want to there's clean leper. And the priest shall look upon him again the 7th day, and behold, the plague shall be somewhat dark. The scab spread much around broad the skin, and after the priest see, behold, the scab brought to the priest. See him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, not the one I want. I think it's around here. If there's no leprosy in the skin, there it is. There we are. This is the one I want. It's in 13. And if a leprosy break out abroad the skin, the leprosy cover all the skin of him that have the plague from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh. This is in the KJV. So I'm going to read it in the NLT at the same time as well. Now suppose the disease has spread all over the person's skin, covering the body from head to foot. When the priest examines in the infected person and finds that the disease covers the entire body, he will pronounce the person ceremonially clean. Since the skin has turned completely white, the person is clean. So basically, Esau's a clean leper. Let me read it in the KJV. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that have the plague. It is all turned white. He is clean. But we know Esau's not white, yeah. So at the end of the day, go into this term right here. But yeah, it is a curse. To have that skin is a curse anyway, so ban. To be white. Ooh, to make white, to become white, purified, become white. White basically means to be pure, but obviously be white. Show whiteness, grow white. Laban. Is it? That's La. Ba. Okay, Laba. Yeah, Laban. Okay. No, the final Latina. Yeah, so basically, yeah. So Hansen's disease. So like I got on a bit of a sidetrack there. Hansen's. Disease, that's what they call it. Hansen disease is also known as an infection caused by a slow-growing bacteria called Mycobacterium leprae, which is leprosy. If it can infect the nerve, skin, eyes, lining of the nose, with early treatment, diagnosis and treatment of the disease can be cured. So this goes into Esau's pseudoscience a bit, but we follow the scriptures. Yeah. So Leviticus 13 goes into how what to do with a leper. Yeah, the disease of the skin. Jump down to 30. Then the priest shall see the plague and be, if a man or a woman have a plague upon the head or the beard, then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, basically blonde hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scale, even a leprosy, upon the head or beard. Yeah, so if you want to read Leviticus 13, yeah, Leviticus 13, then yeah, go into that. Yeah, just brought that out because leprosy is on the rise. Even though we know that Esau Edom's a clean leper. Yeah, so like if I went on a sidetrack there, we've got to understand that second address 9. I'm going to finish it with a few scriptures here. Second address 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Yahushua spoke of the signs with the disciples, with the disciples. And are we not seeing it in these times now? Yeah. Right. The day of trouble is fastly approaching. Yeah, but we know we got to go through it. If Lord's will make it to that point. And if you're the elect, you're definitely going to make it, and you're gonna be saved by Yahushua when he returns. Simple as. Therefore, that when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that was made in the world has a beginning and an end, the end is manifest. Habakkuk 2 and 3. The vision is yet for an appointed time, but the end it shall speak. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder, and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And every one that shall be saved of the elect, and shall be able to escape by his work, and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Speaking of the elect. Yeah, and what's going to happen to the wicked of our nation and the wicked of He saw Edom and the rest of the nations, not all of them, because there's going to be some saved for captivity. Yeah, specifically the elites and others around the world, but definitely the elites, a lot of the elites. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torment. You know, they're basically speaking of the 2/3, yeah? So, wow. Should continue to read if you wish, because I'm going to read it after. So it's 2nd Esdras 9. Lord's will, this is edifying. I know I was all over the place. I don't really have any scriptures to come out with. So Lord's will, it was edifying the scriptures that I did bring out. Yeah. So with that, I'm going to say shalom to the elect from the hopeful elect. Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah, and Abad Babal.